Hi, this is the Maverick artist Victor-Hugo reporting modern art gonzo journalism for the modern art music movement. It is August 25th, 2025, reporting from the former Soviet Union, Republic of Georgia, near the border with Russia, Turkey, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. My job is not to be politically correct. It is to witness, observe, analyze, and document the beautiful chaos that surrounds us all so that future generations can understand how we got to this moment in time where I am blessed to be reunited with one of the most controversial guests I've ever had on this podcast, Steven Kelley, the one and only. Welcome back, sir.
Controversial. Oh my gosh. You know, if you're not controversial, you're doing something wrong. Or you're the enemy, right?
Yeah. For those who are tuning in for the first time, because we've got a lot of new subscribers to the channel, I really recommend that after you watch this, you go to check this one out, titled Shocking. Stephen Kelley, Victor-Hugo, censored live. Kerry Cassidy, Jim Fetzer, SG2 report, Flynn exposed. This was unbelievable radio and podcasting. You can't make this stuff up. We had a devil of a time actually getting on the air for a live broadcast on Revolution Radio, which is supposed to be free speech sponsored by its viewers. And then once we actually overcame the obstacles which were being set on purpose by Revolution Radio, Revolution Radio came on in the middle of our show and demanded that I make a choice between Stephen Kelley and my Revolution Radio show, which, by the way,
Oh.
I was doing voluntarily. They're claiming now, James Fetzer, in a $60 million lawsuit that he claims to have filed against BitChute and Rumble to shut them down because they don't want this information out there. They claim to have terminated me. But what the audience doesn't realize is I was doing that voluntarily. I wasn't getting paid. There was no, I never received even anything letting me know that the show was canceled. He literally just
Yeah.
canceled me live. When I asked them for the excuse, they sent me in writing, which I have, that they have a blacklist. So here we have a free speech radio admitting that they have at least 5 people on that blacklist. Of course, Stephen Kelley, you are one of those people. So
Who's the
yeah,
other people? Who are the other ones? I'd like to know.
I asked them to send me that list because I said, send me the list so I won't have those people on again. I think one of them is Gershon Zwigler, and I'm pretty sure that I'm on that list now too. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's the
Maybe
so-called
Terry Joyce perhaps is on there.
free speech radio. So yeah, check that out, people. You'll find it on my Rumble and BitChute channel. So a lot's happened since then. Stephen, where would you like to begin? Last time you were telling us about the Getty Museum tunnels during the LA fires, which, by the way, most people don't realize, quietly, the government has been purchasing that real estate that was
Mm.
devastated because most people don't realize the insurance companies stopped insuring those properties because, of course, they work with the central bankers who control the directed energy weapons that created those fires to begin with.
Well,
So,
we can cut to the chase on all this stuff. I mean, here's what I've learned in the last however long. Um, I want to go back to the Getty thing and the Revolution Radio, but before I do that, I want to preface this whole thing. I want to basically say that what we're going to be talking about today is mafia. Okay. We use a lot of terms. We talk about the deep state, the swamp, the Zionists, the Bolshevists, the Nazis, the whatever, this or that, the CIA, the NSA. It's just a mafia. It's just one big mafia. It's a whole bunch of little mafias in all working under one big mafia. And as old as I am, we were just discussing age. I'm 67. Victor here is a lot younger than me, but we're like we're still learning. We still get shocked. We still get surprised. It's like that the business on Revolution Radio. Who would have thought that they could be so screwed up, when they pass themselves off as something that they're not. But all these years I've been doing this, I've never really realized that it's just a big mafia. That's all it is. I thought I was dealing with Zionists. I thought I was dealing with this and that. In the end of the day, it's just this big mafia. But the one thing that's kind of important, because we're talking about Revolution Radio, we're talking about, these mafias and what have you. And I just want to remind people, it's almost been come this January, 4 months from now or so, it'll be exactly 10 years since the day that Lavoy Finicum was shot by the FBI. That was at that Mulhauer Bird Sanctuary thing, which was a post-Bundy Ranch thing, which was something that Revolution Radio was very much involved in. And when I was at Revolution Radio, my last day was coming up on almost 10 years now. I started this Occupy the Getty movement because I saw the nonsense that they were doing with these, the Bundy Ranch and the Mulhauer Bird Sanctuary takeover and all these militia groups that were, constitutional groups. And I realized that this was a big distraction, and that if we could get all that energy focused on something useful like the Getty, that we could actually do something. And that's when I started this whole Occupy the Getty movement. And of course, I was the number one guy over there at Revolution Radio. I had 1 million listeners. I mean, every day. A bad day for me was 250,000 listeners. That was a bad day. A good day was well over 1 million people. And nobody brought in people like that on that station until I started talking about the Getty and stuff. Even Carrie Cassidy, her best was like 80,000 listeners. But bottom line is that when I started doing the thing with the Occupy the Getty movement, that's when I got booted. Okay, from Revolution Radio. They kicked me out because of that. And you think, now why in the hell would they do that? Well, obviously, he was part of the mafia. Mike Ringley, I'm not going to say rest in peace because I know he's in hell where he belongs, but was a damn pedophile. He worked for the mafia. He worked for them. The station was founded on pedophilia. It was founded on child porn. Mike Ringley's partner, the founder of that network, is in jail right now for child porn. Okay? And Mike Ringley says that he did it for the government. He worked for the Air Force, and one of his things, and that's why he has all this experience in radio and what have you, is because he worked trying to ensnare people in child porn stings. I mean, what do you call that? Entrapment? But either way, there's a thing called gatekeepers. And when you realize just how extensive this mafia is, I mean, we're fighting it every day, and we're overwhelmed by their power. The entire damn internet was created by this mafia. And when I say mafia, what we're talking about here is DARPANet and ARPANET and all this CIA, NSA, Defense Department nonsense that put all this crap together. And I remember way back when, before they had the damn internet, that, when it was just starting, before we had any of this stuff that we have today, I was working with the NSA. And you know what? 2 years later, along comes Peter Thiel and eBay and all these guys. And what do? They created this monster that we're using right now. And now we've got this Palantir nonsense, and I've realized that every single aspect of this world that we're dealing with now is being controlled by this mafia. And when we try to put our fingers on it, we say, well, it's a bunch of Zionists, it's a bunch of Satanists, it doesn't matter what you call it, it's all the same damn thing. And Trump, he's so high up in this damn thing, it's ridiculous. And Elon Musk, everyone, people look at that face, Elon Musk, you think he's a nice, friendly guy, family man and all that sort of thing, which is a joke, of course. But he's so damn high up in that mafia, it's ridiculous. I mean, him and Peter Thiel, it's everything they've got, all that money, all that wealth from your your internet community, your eBays and your Amazons and your Yahoos and all that stuff, it's all stolen. Every bit of that technology is stolen technology. My brother invented that crap. My brother invented high-speed internet encryption. Okay. And the CIA steals it. They've got complete control over everything. It's just like Palantir right now. I mean, what people don't realize is that Palantir is the Intertel Mafia. It's always been the Intertel Mafia. It's been the Intertel Mafia. Everything's the Intertel Mafia since Richard Nixon. Okay. It's been since Richard Nixon, it's been one big giant mafia. And there are no political parties. It's a joke. And right now everyone's so worried about their, what everything they say being recorded. Hell, we're not hiding anything. We're up here right now spilling this stuff out. And I say it's a mafia. What are they going to do? Are they going to come and kill me? They haven't done it yet. I've been doing this now for 10, whatever, how many years? 2012 I came out, but Occupy the Getty movement's going on strong. What are they waiting for? Seriously. It's like, everyone is so afraid of this mafia, the Zionists, the whatever, you can't say anything bad about Israel, whatever BS. Bottom line is, if these guys were so powerful, why am I still alive? Seriously, why are you still alive? I mean, my God. Good question, right?
Because it's a facade. They're actually weak.
They are weak. And they're stupid. What, am I so scary? Am I that scary that they can't kill me after this? I mean, my God, Gordon Getty, billions and billions of dollars. Elon Musk, pedophile, mafioso, scumbag, billions and billions of dollars. What are they going to do about it? Donald Trump, same thing, billions and billions of dollars. They've got all the money in the world. But what do? Chemtrail us? Try to make us sick? This is the kind of balls our enemy has? What are we afraid of? I don't know. I mean, seriously, I am so over this fear of death nonsense. And we've all been programmed to see these movies with these mafia hit guys coming out and shooting people that get in the way. What are they waiting for? What are they waiting for? Everybody knows where I live. What are they waiting for? I don't get it.
Well, the thing is, they know that we're over the target, and they know that actually if they get rid of us, they make us stronger, because enough people have actually been downloading these videos and sharing these videos, and people will realize, you know what? Besides the point, you and I realize that this is about souls. They're trying to trap our souls. This is a spiritual battle, that whole AI thing, that whole transhumanism thing. They're trying to trap our souls into an internet of things. And I suppose you and I know that we are consciousness, and this is just a suit. So they may be able to get rid of this suit, but they're not going to get rid of our souls, because that's everlasting. So once you realize that, you shed your fear. And that's what they want. They want us to live in fear.
I think maybe when they're so busy trying to keep track of souls and reincarnations and when is this person they're waiting to show up gonna show up and this sort of thing. Maybe they want to keep you around because they get rid of you. You're just going to come back and they're going to have to find you again. I know they spent a lot of time searching for me. The Getty people, the guy that was the trust fund manager of the Getty, he said they'd been looking for me for a long time. And, they've got their looking glass, their project looking glass. They can see in the future. They know who to look out for. They know who's going to cause trouble. But they also are limited in what they can do, because the reality, or what we perceive to be reality, is all based on cause and effect, action, reaction, and the universe has certain rules regarding these actions based on probability. And if And if an action is at least 90% or better probability that it will happen, there's absolutely nothing that these people, these entities can do to stop that. Because at that point it becomes written in stone. And if anything, for instance, it's like when I'm in this what they call the can't be killed club, and it's kind of hard to describe, but over the years I've noticed that anybody that's come along that's tried to, you know, kill me gets killed, usually really horribly. and and I think the reason for that is that the universe has certain safeties in place where if there is an event that is essentially destiny, because of probability, an individual or groups of individuals can't change that because the universe will smack them down if they try to interfere. So, we could call that divine protection, but I think it's just the nature of destiny and reality and how our reality works. So yeah, the fear thing, that's the only thing that stops us from doing what we're doing. If we lose the fear, the fear of death and all that, you get over it. You do get over it. There's really nothing that they can do to stop you, because when you realize that your time of death is predetermined, just like everything in this what we perceive as reality has already been written down, so to speak, and we have the ability to make small changes. That's like what they say, sliding doors, so to speak. It's turn right, turn left. These are what you would call dimensions. But ultimately, the master plan doesn't deviate. And they know that. And all they can really do is try to manage it as best as possible. And when they come across a situation like what they're facing with this, what we're doing, we're our dismantling of their empire, there's nothing they can do about it. They can try to slow down the process. They can try to manage it. They can try to keep the free lunch going as long as possible. But in the end, they know that there's absolutely nothing they can do. And if they do try to interfere and step in, they'll be terminated. Like so many people, like Robert Vesco, the head of the Intertel Mafia, was terminated in Cuban jail because he got involved. So yeah. So the rest of these people in power, they're scared to death. And the ones that aren't scared to death, they're stupid. They just don't know that they should be scared. So
By the
yeah,
way, I've met some of the people in the Can't Be Killed Club, and they told
yeah,
me of how they've literally had guns to their head, and the so-called assassin tried to kill them, pulled the trigger, and nothing happened. And then, of course, they were able to overcome the assassin, and the assassin got killed. So
yeah,
I met more than one person who has told me, they said, Victor, these people have no control over your fate because of what you said. Everything has already been pre-planned. We are just
yeah.
actors on this world stage.
You're the only one that controls your destiny,
And
really.
the people, I think, as a filmmaker, I've come to understand how this predictive programming works, and I'm hoping that people understand what I'm about to tell you. When you go on Netflix or you go on any of these like movie things, you'll see that 90% of the programming is horror with slasher films and torture and mutilation. But there's always that one person who ends up surviving it against all the odds, against the most horrific killer that's out there. And so, yeah, that's the Can Be Killed Club. And there's a lot of people out there who are there. So that's how Hollywood puts it, because they got to let you know there's a Can't Be Killed Club. And of course, for those people who end up killing those in the Can't Be Killed Club, there are like circumstances that will haunt them forever. And like you said, they end up dying horrific deaths too. So that's why people are like, you know what? I don't even want to get involved in this. So yeah, I mean, like you said, once people lose their fear and shed their fear, that's what they're most afraid of. That's why they try to keep people in constant fear. Oh, the
Hmm.
famine. Oh, you're going to lose your job. Oh, you're going to, and a lot of it is the material because they've gotten everybody in the material wealth. And I'm noticing people in the US are like, oh my God, I can't afford my bills. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose my car. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose that.
My
You're not going to lose any.
friends,
Yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
yeah,
Realize it's all an illusion. A lot of these people, if they're really your friends, if they're really your family, and they only care about you because of the fancy house and cars and parties that you throw, but when you're left destitute, they don't even welcome you into their home, then really, what kind of
boy, do
family
I
or,
know that.
you know?
I swear, yeah, I know all about that. Hey. No, I think you're right. I think the losing the fear is really the first thing. And I guess if we were to try to teach people or try to leave them with a message at the end of the day, I mean, because you could tell them all about the bad things that they need to watch out for, and that things that the enemy's going to do. But if they want to become powerful and be able to withstand all that nonsense, yeah, that's trick number one is losing the fear. I mean, it's not easy. It takes time. It took me a while. It took me about a good year, to get over this whole waiting for them to come and kill me business. It's like, uh, man, I forgot all about it. The Bilderbergers put a hit out on me a while back. Carrie Cassidy told me about. Of course, this is part of this whole nonsense that they actually think I make this stuff up. It's like, why would I make this stuff up? It's so silly. Uh, but yeah, one day I'm sitting here, in the house, and I get a phone call from Carrie Cassidy, and she's in London, and she admits to me, she says, I'm at a Bilderberger meeting. I'm like, what? He says, yeah, I'm a Bilderberger, but never mind that. They put a hit out on you, and Jerry Avalos and Thunder White Cloud, the guy we were working on, scalar technology. But the thing that they were really pissed off about, the reason why they wanted to put the hit out, was because I discovered that you could take a solid state laser, which is basically a crystal, and program with a scalar program, and then this laser beam would transmit the program. And scalar basically is how they alter reality. And of course, the enemy has massive advantage in this technology, and if we ever become a problem, they'll just override it with their superior technology. But then this laser thing, they couldn't do that. They're like, oh my God! So that made us really, really, really dangerous, and they put the hit out. And Harry calls me up, it wasn't just for me, it was for the other two guys. Jerry Avalos was someone that she had known for quite a while. Her and Tommy Hansen were guys that were doing all her tech. You remember Tommy Hansen?
Never
Anyway,
heard.
oh well, he's a blonde guy. He used to do all the tech, the web tech for Carrie Cassidy. But anyway, that was her crew. So she was concerned. And of course, this was many years ago, and in that time, this was when during I think it was a solstice, and there was a big event going on over at Stonehenge, and David Icke and Alex Jones were both in London at the time for this event. So Carrie Cassidy and the other two were there, and she'll tell everybody that they were there to cover the Bilderberger meeting that was going on. But BS. They were all three there at the meeting, you know. And the topic of the meeting was putting a hit out on me because of this technology. And anyway, needless to say, rather, I did not stop with the technology, and I did not do anything about the stupid hit. But I went on the offensive, and obviously I won that battle. I'm still here. So that's just another example of this whole can't be killed club crap, because it's like the people that know, they know. They won't even say my name. Guys like Gordon Getty, he's 90 years old. He'd like to, you know, see the rest of his years probably in without having to worry about me. But hell, guys like Michael Aquino, we were talking about Michael Aquino earlier. He was the one that ran the entire gatekeeper operation, Revolution Radio, Miles Johnson, all these so-called alternative media truthers were on Bilderberger payroll, and the money was being dispersed by Michael Aquino. And his head bag lady was Carrie Cassidy. And I flat out told her, I have the evidence. I've got the receipts. I've got the data. I have the forensic internet analysis that we were able to recover that shows her connection to all of this. We've got every single person involved in that. We've got their fingerprints already with forensic and stuff that we've pulled off of the internet. We know where their funding is. We know, hell, this is how I found out that Revolution Radio was able to bypass all of the restrictions and hurdles that they put in front of Truth Alternative Radio by using a massive amount of pornographic domains. And what they do is they have these big networks of pornographic web pages that they string onto. And this gives them the ability to get past all the censorship that screws with us. Like my radio station, Truth Cat Radio, I went from 1 million listeners to 3 digits. Okay. How does that happen? Okay. I'm the same person. I've got the same abilities, the same everything, but for some reason now nobody wants to listen to me. BS. Something's wrong here. And we know what it is.
By the way, I'm going to share screen with you because what you're saying is exactly what's going on right now. A lot of people who are dim-witted keep telling me to let it go, let it go, let it go. But what we have is a situation where these people who are part of Revolution Radio, it's a big club, and you and I ain't in it, but we were dabbling in it. And once we discovered what was really going on, we got out of it because we don't want to be a part of that whole child porn and pedophilia.
You weren't fired? You weren't fired?
Yeah, that's true.
We were terminated.
Yeah, we were terminated because we got too close to the fire. So anyway, it turns out that James Fetzer, who's involved with Revolution Radio, is now trying to shut down videos like what we're producing right now because they don't want people to know what we know. So he's working with Revolution Radio because they know what he's doing. And so he's produced this lawsuit. He's trying to make $60 million by shutting down BitChute and Rumble. And when people say, how can he shut down BitChute and Rumble? He's trying to censor free speech. So if he wins, this will set a precedent, and then everybody will be able to sue BitChute and Rumble, and they don't have the billions and billions of dollars to pay off all the lawsuits that will come from this. So anyway, it turns out
not Donald Trump.
No. So it turns out that he's lied about even filing the lawsuit. He bragged about sending this press release to State of the Nation. State of the Nation's legal department checked the facts and they realized that no, he hasn't even filed it. So they took it down. But then he bragged about being friends with the Millennium Report, who have received the same information asking the legal department to fact check it. But it turns out again that it's a small club and he happens to be part of this club. So they keep this up. But it turns out if you actually do your research and you find out he was denied his pauper. He tried to tell the court that he was too poor.
Hold on. Go back up. I just saw the part. He was terminated. What the hell? After he was terminated.
Yeah. So they claim that I terminated. So all of this stuff is lies. Like like you and I said, we have the receipts. I have the receipts where I was asking a mad painter to provide me with a termination. I was like, because they didn't terminate me, they just stopped the show. I tried logging in, and they played a repeat or
Yeah.
something.
Wouldn't
So
connect to the server.
yeah, yeah. So like these cowards didn't even have the nerve send me because they knew that what they were doing would expose them.
I have to tell you a story here. Okay,
Okay.
real quick. All right. The first time uh Mike Ringley, while he was alive, I had quit. I didn't get terminated. I had quit. I walked away from him. I started another network. I started Epoch Radio, and I had attracted a whole bunch of talent, and everyone was all concerned. And Mike Ringley begged me to come back to Revolution Radio. Begged me to come back. Called me up and begged me to come back. He told me the reason why it was important for me to come back was because he was under attack for pedophilia, because he was being accused of producing and being involved in pedophile pornography, and that he needed us to rally around him and stand behind him and support him. Now, this was before it even dawned on me how guilty and corrupt he was, even though I had already been informed about his partner, the guy that helped him start that network, already being in jail. And that information was given to me by one of his very, very close people that worked with him, a woman there, I can't remember her name. But point is that yeah, we didn't get terminated. This is free. We don't get paid. And if anything, we work to make them money. Okay. And I brought him in tons of money. And he cheats. He cheats and says how much he says that the running total that they say how much they're bringing every month is BS. There's nowhere near, they don't tell you anywhere near how much money they're taking in. And on top of that, they don't tell you how much money the government is giving him. Okay. He's totally being paid off. He's always been paid off. So, and when you talk about the club, let's see, Kerry Cassidy, Douglas Dietrich, Lorian Fenton, Miles Johnson, they all got money. They got money. We didn't.
Yeah, James Fetzer couldn't file the pauper's excuse for not paying the filing fee for the court because they looked into it and he's not a pauper. So you see what I'm saying? I mean, he's getting paid somewhere. So but they're not terminating him. You see, because the thing is, I'm going
But
to
he
show
wasn't
you.
even there when I was there. I don't think he was on the network when I was there.
I'm going to show you why they're so scared about what I'm doing. Because it turns out that Revolution Radio and James Fetzer are connected to a bunch of alleged pedophiles, rapists, convicted liars,
Well, they totally
child
are.
pornographers. So, for example, there's this guy named John Coleman, and I'm leading the audience to this. You can go to Victor-Hugo Art and you can see the reports I've done. Again, I bring receipts. It turns out that this guy, John Coleman, who runs the OccupyTheGetty Institute, is a school where he admits that they take children into the woods and teach them in the nude. So can you imagine a bunch of old guys like Jim Fetzer and
Yeah.
this? He even does podcasts in the nude. And here it is, coming to terms, starting our nudist school journey. This was
All right, now
January.
you're just grossing me out, man.
Yeah. And then you got this guy, Carl Herman. What's interesting is I'm also exposing these people as what's called satanic Christians. They hide under the umbrella of being a Christian while protecting pedophiles and rape culture. So it turns out James Fetzer is going to be teaching at the OccupyTheGetty Institute, right? So John Coleman goes on James Fetzer's show, doesn't mention anything about the fact that he was exposed. Check this out. Rumble was posting child pornography on the OccupyTheGetty Institute's Rumble channel. They had this video up called Naked USA where you could see young children naked. So I exposed this. What's interesting is if you go to Naked USA and the OccupyTheGetty Institute channel now, they've removed it. So it
Well, you
shows
got to
that,
be careful. You have to even if you try to show somebody this stuff, you got to still censor it. You know,
Well, what's
I,
interesting is like they took it down because they knew that it was child porn. And so I'm letting the authorities know, and nobody's doing anything about this. These
yeah,
guys are
but they'll
still,
accuse you of it
yeah,
for
of
showing it
course.
to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so this is one of the situations. Then you've got this other guy who is an ally and a so-called reliable source for James Fetzer and Russ Winter, a guy named Charles Carter, who both Jim Fetzer and Russ Winter are always claiming is a reliable source for facts and information. He's come out and claimed that Russ Winter has had sex with 12-year-olds and 15-year-olds right around the time where people are now making allegations that also Russ Winter is a homosexual. Got no problem with the homosexual part, but God only. Oh, and then he goes out and he claims himself on Jim Fetzer's show that he's had herpes since he was 20 and that everybody has herpes. So
Okay,
this
you're
is
grossing
them,
me out, man.
them in their own words. I play these clips and they want all these clips taken down. Then I mean, it's just unbelievable all the stuff that these people are saying. Uh, uh, and this is what they're trying to shut down BitChute and Rumble for. By the way, are
Hey,
you aware
you
of
ever
a
heard
guy,
of a guy named Former White Hat?
former White Hat? No.
Yeah, I don't remember his actual name. He was a good buddy with um Ringley, Mike Ringley. He used to have a show on Revolution Radio for a while. They were good buddies. Um, I purge these guys from my mind, but if you were on Revolution Radio 10 years ago, 11 years ago, you'd know about this guy, but he was a writer. He actually, if you uh, he was listed with the San Diego Tribune or something like that, and it turned out that he was also involved in this child porn nonsense. He was definitely he was attacking me the whole time I was there, and Mike Ringley was trying his best to defend the guy, but eventually had to kick him out of this network. And this was a guy that was his own buddy because he just wouldn't stop screwing with me during shows, and we had such a lot of listeners that he was going to allow that. But this guy died supposedly in a motel room in Tijuana not too many years ago, one of these mysterious death type situations. And of course, a lot of people say he faked his death and all that. And a lot of other people say he was one of the six people that all died after the Henderson, Nevada super soldier event that I was providing security for. Maybe you heard about that story.
I
It's
think you,
actually a funny story.
yeah, can you share that
Huh.
again? I think you said that on the last show,
The
but share
super
that.
soldier story?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's just say he was just one of these guys that died, but turned out he was very much involved in the pedophilia and stuff, just like Mike Ringley. And, he's dead. Okay. Lorian Fenton produces I don't know, obviously, I don't know if she does it anymore, but an event called the Super Soldier Summit. James Rink and all those guys. You know, James Rink?
Never heard of them.
Okay. You're familiar with the term, the super soldiers?
Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, okay, so she ran a event, and I was brought to this thing under really really weird circumstances. I never heard of it before, and they just talked me into going to it. Turned out I was like the star of the show. They didn't tell me that until Saturday, I think, or Sunday. Lori and Fenn said, "Oh, I wasn't going to tell you because I didn't want you to get a big ego or whatever, but you're like the main speaker for this event." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, you should have told me. But anyway, it turns out, supposedly, this is the story, that there was a mass abduction that took place at this event because they had gathered up all these MyLabs and, super soldier types in one location. And this was that guy, the dead guy now, the one that died in Poland, Max Spears, and his buddy James Casbolt. Okay, they were like, okay, they turned out they were like military type, but they were what I would call Sith. Okay, they're like the opposite of the Jedi. They're like military psychic idiots, and they worked under uh, our buddy Aquino. Aquino.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so it turned out, yeah, and we know that Aquino is one that manages this entire gatekeeper on alternative media thing. That's his baby. Of course, he's dead now. You're welcome. But he was responsible for this thing that took place over there at Super Soldier Summit, where a bunch of people were basically brought into a parking garage and messed with in the back of a van. And I was supposedly one of those people, and I was supposedly the only one that resisted, but they subdued me. At least that's what how the story goes. I don't remember anything, but everybody else has this story. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I'll tell you this though: 6 people from that event are dead, and they were all people who messed with me in one way or another. One of them was this former white hat guy, buddy of Mike Ringley. One of them, of course, was Max Spears, and he was one of the military people that was involved in the kidnapping, if you will. And then, of course, Casbolt, he's still alive, but he's gone into hiding. He's like a non-person now. He got I don't even, I'm assuming he's out of jail, but and then there's a couple other guys that are dead that I don't really remember their name. And then Aquino, of course, is dead. Okay, and he was the mastermind of the whole thing. So all these guys got whacked as a result of this thing. And this is part of the can't be killed club business. You don't mess with us. So, I'm just saying, these guys, when you talk again back to the fear thing, they are way more afraid of us than we are of them. Totally.
You know, I wanna share the screen again with you because I'm noticing why it is that they don't want me to be sharing this information and why they're trying to shut Rumble and BitChute down is because I've connected the dots. And I mean, when you start putting one and one together, you start seeing the picture clearly. And so it turns out that Real Deal Media, Jim Fetzer's cousin, contacted me. And this is what's amazing. The people within their own circle contact me, whistleblowers. And so Jim Fetzer's bloodline said, hey, listen, Dean Ryan is dangerous. Apparently, he's a cokehead, he's a meth head, he's a crackhead, but he's also Jim Fetzer's handler, which explains why Jim Fetzer gets on and brags about being able to contact Stu Peters, Alex Jones, and Mike Adams. Because it turns out if you look up Dean Ryan on his LinkedIn page, he used to work for Alex Jones, which makes sense because he also used to work for Mike Adams. And Mike Adams, for those who watch Alex Jones, is always on Alex Jones's show. Well, anyway, of course, they started actually putting threats out on me on the radio. And also mocking my dead mother and everything. That's all these guys got is threats and mockery. But yeah, it turns out that these people are all connected from Alex Jones to Mike Adams to Stu Peters. And the common thread is Jim Fetzer. So he's like the mob boss of the alternative news media.
I don't know, man. I know he's on. If you had to make a flow chart, and this is what I recommend you do, okay? Because I'm actually trying to do that right now, and I think that this is something these mafia guys don't like. Because if you do make a flow chart, people can understand it better. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
I'll show you the flow chart. And that's actually what the
I would put Alex Jones much higher than Stu Peters on that flow chart. I mean, I know just from my own experience that Alex Jones is way up there. He's like White House level.
if you want to see
Okay.
the flow chart, Dustin Nemos and I have done the flow chart that connects all these people. Check out this podcast right here. Dustin Nemos named in Jim Fetzer lawsuit,
Well, that does
which
not
is
look like a
why.
flow chart.
No, well, you got to watch the video. I'm just leading.
Pull up a JPEG. JPEG.
So people are actually yeah, I'll see if I could play it. But what's happening is he named oh there it is. There it is. That's the flow chart right there. So he's named Dustin Nemos in the $60 million lawsuit because
All
Dustin
right, hold
Nemos
on. So expand that for a second here. Let's see this.
here. So he's got Dean Ryan with Real Deal Media connected to Mike Adams at Brighteon, connected to Jim Fetzer, connected to Alex Jones. You got Stu Peters connected to Alex Jones and all this other stuff here. Handsome Truth, Adam Green, Andrew Tate, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes.
Well, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens. I mean, Candace Owens is kind of a she's kind of a what we call free floating entity. Okay, she's not exactly. And Andrew Tate. I mean, all right, listen, Andrew Tate is way up higher than what you've got here, and that's a whole nother flow chart. Uh, Andrew Tate is Mason. That's another whole nother branch of this business here. It's interesting that I mean, I like what you've got here, but it's not quite right. Um, it should go, first of all, it should go gravity, it should go down. Mossad, that's the thing about Mossad. It's not Mossad, it's Intertel. All right. The Intertel Mafia. For instance, Alex Jones on a flow chart would be next to that idiot in the White House with the white hair, Nixon's dirty tricks guy.
Oh, Roger Stone.
Roger
Yeah,
Stone. Yeah.
he's on
Okay.
this as
Roger
well.
Stone and Alex Jones are kind of lateral.
Yeah,
Okay. And then you've got what's below them and you've got what's above them. But then you've got all this other stuff. Candace Owens, she's a free floating entity. Don't worry about her. Nick Fuentes and all that. Yes, they fall into the whole, there's the Zionist crowd. Mossad, if you look at the Mossad thing, Mossad is kind of lateral to CIA and NSA, which is going to be below Intertel. Okay. So all the ABC stuff and the international stuff, it's the same mafia. All right. But so in other words, if you look at this, say like Rothschild Khazarian mafia, you're going to trace that back to Jacob Frank and Illuminati and all this Mason stuff. Okay, so that's a big deal, the Mason stuff. But then at the same time, you got your whole black nobility, you got your Vatican, you got your Charlemagne, you got your Magna Carta, you got your Nazis. That's a whole nother thing. Templars. It mixes in, of course, with your Jesuit influence and what have you. But ultimately, if you really want to go back to the very beginning here at the top of the flow chart, you gotta go back to the Phoenicians, okay, 6,000 BC, because it's really them. All this Baal stuff and what have you. It all comes to Phoenicians. Hell, even in Russia, even in Crimea right now, if you look at the basis of what's going on with the Kochhols, if you will, it's probably a bad word over there. That stuff goes back to Genghis Khan. And if you study some of the basis of their belief systems, you realize that it's Babylonian. They've got this Tanit thing going on, or variations of that over there in the eastern. Of course, that's left over from the Mongol invasion. But it's like, how did it get from Babylon to Mongolia? You know what I mean? So in other words, it's all really a lot more simple than we're being led to believe. But in the reality, it's the Phoenicians. Okay, and if you look at you think, well, okay, Jews are hiding behind these guys are hiding behind these guys. Ultimately, it's the Phoenicians. It's always been the Phoenicians. It's the Carthaginians. It's the Phoenicians. They are the great superpower, and who took them out? The Romans. So who is it today? It's still the Phoenicians and it's still the Romans. Okay. You've got what we call the West, the so-called West, is a Phoenician infiltrated Western Roman Empire. And what we have in the East is a relatively, well, it was also infiltrated, obviously, by the Bolsheviks, but that's basically just the Eastern Roman Empire. That's what Russia is today, the Eastern Roman Empire. So it's not just Zionism versus everybody else. It's also this this whole business with the Eastern and Western Roman Empire, and but ultimately Phoenicians were here before anybody. Okay, and when they point fingers, it's all ridiculous. So seriously, it's all ridiculous. It's like the only thing we need to do is kill them all. I mean, not even kill them all, just take over. We need to end it all. What they did in the past doesn't really matter as long as we're smart enough to know that who we need to end.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people don't realize it is the Phoenicians and the Romans. When the fall of the Roman Empire, all they did was rebrand themselves. They've rebranded. And so, like you said, the United States set up as the new Roman Empire when you see how everything is set up there, even the buildings and all in Washington, D.C. And
Western,
yeah,
not
yeah.
Eastern.
And then the thing,
Eastern's the enemy.
and then Russia as well. It's like you said,
Well, Russia took over the emblem of Constantine, basically, and the well, I used to not think a lot of good stuff about Constantine, but I realized he was actually pretty right on. He wasn't this corrupt pagan like we're led to believe. The real corruption came from those families, those Venetian families and what have you, the black nobility, and the ones that insisted that the papacy would be the supreme controller. And then Charlemagne, the guy that basically conquered the Roman Empire or conquered Italy, though that Rome, and declared Germany and France and that entire portion of Europe to be the new Holy Roman Empire. When that happened, when Charlemagne did that, Constantine was in Byzantium. Okay, he was in Istanbul, soon to be Istanbul, Byzantium. That was the center of the Roman Empire, and it made a lot of sense because Rome, that little peninsula that is Italy, wasn't appropriate for the center of this massive empire. And it was when Charlemagne came along that he basically threw his support to a Latin-speaking papacy that had control over all the bishops, and the Greek-speaking Eastern Orthodox said, well, hold on, we don't recognize that. Our bishops are autonomous. We speak Greek. We don't speak Latin. And that's where the schism came from. And I'll tell you, if you look at, say, the apostles, and Jesus and all that, where the apostles went, when they scattered, most of them went to what we would consider the East, like Thomas, they went to Syria, they went to Armenia, they went to all these scattered places, Turkey, what have you. How many of them stayed in Europe? If you look at the great churches, there's only 3 churches that were actually started by apostles. One of them, of course, is Rome by Peter. And then there's one in Spain, I believe. And then there's the one started by Thomas. And I'm not sure if that's in Syria or Turkey or something like that. But the point is that if you're not Peter, you're a heretic. Who made that rule? Since when? I don't recall Jesus saying that only Peter was a legitimate apostle and that the church that he started was going to be the only one that was going to be important. That's ridiculous. The Gospel of St. Thomas is completely stricken from the Bible. It's being termed heretical, schismatic. It's like ridiculous. And so these battles we're fighting today, like why do you suppose the EU wants so badly to destroy Russia? It's the same damn thing. It's Eastern Roman Empire. And you look at the EU, you look at Ursula von der Leyen. What's her name? Albrecht. She's an Albrecht. Albrecht is old Charlemagne court. If you trace the Windsor family back to Charlemagne, you're going to find many, many Albrechts. And there's van der Leyen, who's an Albrecht. That's a clue. That's a clue. When they have their big awards, they have the Charlemagne Award and all that. So it's like everything they do is trying to conquer this old foe, which is the Eastern Roman Empire. It's just like when the Crusaders went and sacked Byzantium. Same thing.
You know, I'm noticing that these people are trying to hide our history so that we don't know the things that you just said. And because I'm here on the border with Turkey, I hear from the people who come and go, and they tell me that there's sites like this. I don't know if you're familiar with this site, but it was up in the mountains and they had these giants there. And then for whatever reason, they bombed it and destroyed it so that people can't see what's
Well,
underneath
who
there.
runs Turkey? Who runs Turkey?
Isn't that NATO?
Don Medjus.
Oh yeah, that's where the Sabbatean Frankists
That's
came.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
Why do you
and
think
they're
they're so anti-Armenia? They're
oh my,
Jewish.
yeah, and that whole thing is turning into a
Yeah.
nightmare
Where do you
between.
think those people came from? They all came from there.
So I don't
The
know if you're
Turks.
familiar with the site, but they actually had all the stones ground down because they wanted to destroy this area. They didn't want
Yeah.
people to know what was here.
Well, you heard about that one site that they had over there in Turkey. It turned out to be incredibly ancient,
Yeah, and
and
the
they
actual people.
buried it.
Yeah,
They buried
I
it.
want to go there and check it out. That's Go Betty, I think. I'm
Uh,
gonna
Gold Tepe, something like that.
yeah, Go Tepe. And
But all
that's
right,
one
I'll
of the
tell you what I think happened there.
yeah.
Uh, that location was like a hunting lodge for probably a visiting alien species that was hunting humans because they found evidence in at the dig site of human heads being used as trophies, but they were mounted in such a way that was abnormal considering the dating of the place. There you go, Gobekli Tepe.
Yeah, this place is so old. And like you said, the things that they discovered there, they don't want the people to know. They're
No, no,
actually
they
just
shouldn't. They found
um,
things they weren't supposed to find. Yeah.
and they're actually destroying it on purpose. They're building roads over this, and the people that are doing it are the UNESCO. So they're supposed to be
World
like,
Heritage Site.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they're
and
supposed to
they're
be preserving
protecting
it.
it. They're
Look what they're
destroying.
doing in Syria. Look what they did in Palmyra. You know, how many times? Look what they did to the citadel in what was it, Aleppo? You know, I mean, one of the few castle structures that wasn't destroyed. Look what they did to all the castles in Britain. Okay, all there's no castles in Britain that they destroyed them all.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of our history, but this place is really strange, man. What they did and how they destroyed it. The same thing's going on in Iraq. They went in there, the U.S. military. They took apparently Nimrod's body, and they
Yeah,
all these
that was
artifacts.
they did that very early. Yes.
The Iraqis are telling me about that. They're like, man, the United States is going and just, and then the British Museum is keeping all sorts of artifacts hidden from the public as well. They don't want us
Well,
to know about our
there
ancient
were
history.
some Babylonian things there, which okay, this is my theory, is that Solomon, a lot of the power that Solomon had was because of his ability to incarcerate demons. Okay,
Yeah.
he had demons encased in something, and he was able to extort them and get them to do his bidding. So when his kingdom was conquered, those demons were taken. The Babylonians took possession of that. And from what I understand, one of the first things, and of course, I learned about this through, you know, super soldier connections, but was that it was a basically it was a raid in the astral to essentially take this over to capture these. Now, I had no clue what it was that was being captured back then. I thought it was just uh, well, souls, you know, souls that were being held captive. But I realize that these souls were actually these demons that Solomon had been using for to access his powers.
Yeah, and people
So
don't believe
yeah,
this stuff. When we
no, they
speak
don't
of
believe in that shit.
it, they
They
think
don't
we're
believe in it.
crazy. They think this is all
They
woo stuff.
think you're crazy. That's right.
By the way, do you realize this underground city that's in Turkey that goes for miles? They couldn't have built this without some sort of light because you can't build this stuff. So they
Well, they
had,
had electric light back then. They
yeah,
had the Babylon battery.
yeah.
You know,
So there's
Egypt had electric lights. I mean, my God, they had lasers. They, of course, they had light. They had light because they had the ability to read wavelength. They had the ability to do precision optical manufacturing utilizing light waves. This is how the Egyptians built the pyramid. The pyramids are built to a specification of one wavelength of light. Now, you need light. If light is your yardstick, you need light to do that. So yes, they obviously had light.
and it,
Probably something like a quartz lamp, I think.
and the thing is, as soon as people start understanding this, they kill them because they don't want us to have all this stuff.
Unless you're in a can't be killed club.
Yeah, yeah. So, I
I
mean,
gotta tell you though, this whole business with let me just say this: when you get to a certain point, like you're trying to release a bunch of information, you're trying to expose the great evil and all that. You reach a point to where you suddenly think, "Wow, what more can you say? What more can you put out?" And when are they finally going to try to do something about it? It. And for me right now, what I'm noticing, uh, because obviously I've been talking about the Getty now for a long time and that stuff. But this with the Palantir, bringing it back to all that, and the what's going on with the Mossad and uh, the surveillance and you know Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and Donald Trump and this ridiculous uh, mafia crap that's going on, the surveillance crap that's going on. I'm starting to see that we're actually getting into things that they actually care about and they're concerned about, and then you realize how vulnerable you are. In other words, it's like if we take away uh, Twitter, for instance, right now Twitter is one of the last bastions that we have to try to get information out to the whole world. Obviously, we're not going to use Truth Social, because we know what that is. But then when you realize that there is nowhere that you're going to get that free speech. There is nothing. If I start going on Twitter and I start telling everybody that Elon Musk is mafia and that the technology that he used to build SpaceX and Twitter and PayPal was stolen, by the CIA, and he is nothing but CIA mafia, and he always has been, it's not going to go over well. And yet that's the reality. And the very fact that they're going to get upset about that is only confirmation that it's true. And the AI, okay, I've been going around and around with Grok over this stuff. Because if you go to Grok and you say, who's Steven Kelley, he's going to give you a big long story. And he used to say that I was some sort of a grifter or something like this. Obviously they use the terms like conspiracy theorist, although we've gotten it to stop doing that. But the point is now I realize that the technology that made this thing, that the very fact that it exists, that the people who control it and own it are nothing more than this damn mafia, this wicked damn CIA controlled mafia, and everything they've gotten by theft. You can't have any respect whatsoever. In other words, it's like, when you've got this AI and you've got to take some of the information you're getting from it as true, because obviously there's a lot of facts in there, but when it starts getting into conjecture and starts deciding for you what's true and what's a conspiracy, that's when you realize you can't have any respect for it whatsoever. And it's kind of a strange position to get into in life when you realize that these people, that these so-called leaders like Trump and these billionaires, and there's so many of them, are nothing more than disgusting criminals, thieves, perverts, pedophiles, homosexuals, Satanists, just disgusting, vile humans. It gets kind of depressing to realize that this enemy that we're dealing with is so overwhelming. It's so large. It's so wealthy. It's has so much power. We really have nothing working for us whatsoever. It's like when you look at that spreadsheet you had of all those people, not one of them there is working for us. I mean, Candace right now with her whole Richard Macron is a man and whatever, I mean, I look at Candace as an opportunist, someone who wants to cash in on whatever. And she was pro-Trump, and now she's starting to wake up and act a little bit less pro-Trump. And obviously, the Satanists and the Zionists and the protocols of learned elders of Zion, they're going to tell you that they will supply heroes for us. Obviously, they didn't supply me, but you know what I mean. I mean, hell, I think Candace is kind of cute, but the thing is that she's not like a Laura Loomer or one of these obvious Jewish mouthpieces that everything they say comes out of their mouth is bullshit. I'd like to see us go back to the day when they made them wear these pointy yellow hats to warn everybody that you're talking to a liar. And you wonder why Hollywood is so full of these people. Obviously, it's a control mechanism, but it's because actors, it helps to be a really good liar if you're an actor. It's like in Greece, in ancient Greece, actors weren't even buried with the regular citizens. They had their own graveyard because nobody wanted to be buried in the same place as a liar, somebody who made their living from lying. So, ultimately, that's the most satanic thing there is it starts with a lie. And it always starts out with something that sounds pretty truthful, and then it turns into a big lie. So
Well,
that's what we're fighting.
what's weird, Stephen, is that now we're living in a world where lies are being normalized and liars are being praised. Check this out. It turns out James Fetzer is actually using GiveSendGo to have his audience fund the destruction of BitChute and Rumble. He literally puts it right out there, suing BitChute and Rumble for dereliction of duty. He's trying to raise $100,000. So far, he's raised
Who's this
21,000.
deep state protocols bullshit? What the hell is that?
That's BitChute, the LLC.
Deep
So
state protocols?
yeah, what's
That's
interesting,
that's their
yeah, that's their LLC. That's what BitChute has as its LLC. What's amazing is check this out. This is actually illegal. What's going on, and he puts it right in your face. And the police are aware of this. But it's interesting how everything these people are like you and I are exposing, and Dustin Nemos is exposing. These people are all connected. So here he is telling people that he's raising $100,000 and somehow they're giving him the money. But it turns out they're really not giving him the money because he filed this and actually he hasn't even filed it. According to the courts, he has until September 5th to file it. So he's actually putting out all these lies again and he's raising money based on lies. And when you go down, you'll see that this was posted just a couple of weeks ago, but he's keeps changing it. So he's taking money from people 8 months ago, 8 months ago, over a year ago, 3 years ago, based on false pretenses. So this is like embezzlement. This is fraud. These people gave him money because originally, if you go down here, you'll see he's claiming that he used this money for the Sandy Hook case, which he died. Now he's completely gone in and switched it to shutting down BitChute and Rumble. Now notice what he says here. He says, "I have the law and the evidence on my side. What I don't have is the money. I am doing this for
uh,
the sake of the nation. None of these
uh,
will be
how old is
used."
this guy, Jim Fetzer? Just out of curiosity.
He's 85 years old.
Oh, okay. So he's losing his brain. I get it. All right. He's going nuts. Either that or he figures that this is his last hurrah before he dies. He wants to have a payday. It sounds to
Yeah,
me like you're talking to somebody that's lost his noodle. I mean, my God, look at Trump. The guy's going nuts. You know, I'm sorry, 85 years old,
And he's doing this pro se. So
probably shouldn't be driving.
the money that he's raising is not even going to a lawyer, it's going to him.
Well, like I said, when you get to that age, you start worrying about money. Personally, I don't worry about money. Do you worry about money?
No, you know what?
A
I
little
noticed.
bit, right? You sell your
Well,
art, right?
yeah, well, the universe provides, man. Every time
I
I
need
get,
new glasses. These glasses are shot, man. They got a big old scuff right here. I'm trying to get people to send me money so I can get some new glasses.
by the way, I'm going to post that. Can you give your website where people could
My
donate to
website?
showing your
Oh,
work?
my PayPal? Well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what? We've been here almost 2 hours, so we should probably start thinking about stuff like that, huh?
Yeah. If you can give me that information, I will go ahead and share it with the
All right.
audience.
All right. All right. Sure thing. Well, if let's just say somebody wanted to donate, you would have to use PayPal. And there's that Mafia thing. Don't say, oh, I don't like PayPal. That Peter Thiel, whatever. That's all I got, you know, and I'm lucky to have that. But anyway, my PayPal is Steven Kelley, my name, StevenKelley, 714 at yahoo.com. And you got to say friend or family, or I got to send it back because I'm not a business. Seriously, I'll send it back. If you don't say friend or family, if you don't find that little box to check that says it's going to someone that's not a business, I got to send it back.
By the way, can you email that to me and I will
Oh,
put
yeah.
that link in
I
the
can email.
description box for
Well,
people
you know
to.
what I really would like people to do is visit the Telegram. Are you on Telegram?
No, I have somebody who's impersonating me on Telegram. By the
Well, then
way,
you need to be on Telegram, dude, because that's the only thing we got left. I mean, my God, you're in the East Block right now. You should be doing Telegram.
well, I tried
Yeah.
to, and this is the thing. This is the new thing, Stephen, how they're trying to eliminate us. In order for me to get on Telegram, now, like I said, there's a fake Telegram account out there with my name
Well, you
using,
can report it.
I did, and they haven't
Yeah.
done anything about it. And these people are trying to raise money using my name. So I don't know how
Oh.
many people have done it. They're claiming that they're me and
All
they're
right.
asking
You
money and
have
everything.
a phone, you have a cell phone that you can use to just get an account, because obviously that's the thing. Anybody can say any name they want on
Yeah.
Telegram.
So it turns
But
out, check this out, Stephen. I don't have a cell phone. I don't want a cell phone,
well, I don't
especially
either. I don't have a cell
especially
phone.
after Mossad did that thing with their pagers and how they've let us know that they can weaponize everything from a toaster
Well, look, this
to
is
a
what
top.
I did. I went to one of these phone stores and I bought a throwaway phone, just basic, and I got a $20 a month plan, no data, and I got a phone number. Once I got that phone number, I signed up to Telegram. Well, that phone is sitting over there somewhere. It's not turned on. I don't use it, you know, but I'm still on Telegram.
Well,
So
check
you
this.
don't
This is
you can
really
do it.
weird. I've tried, but check this out. This is how it works. Again, people are going to start noticing this because they're going to start doing the biometrics and everything, and they're already starting it on several platforms because they're
Well, all you
trying.
got is Telegram, though. All that Microsoft stuff is we're screwed. Hell, what they call it, age verification, like they're doing in the
Yeah,
UK right
yeah,
now. That's
yeah.
coming to the US.
Totally, it is.
YouTube's doing it.
And you notice they're claiming that it's for child porn and for porn and stuff like that.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what.
right. But they can't keep track of that crap.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, who
anyway,
controls all? All right. Let me just share this right now because here's something that most people don't know, and it really bothers me when I hear this crap. John Bolton just got arrested, and his stuff was sacked, and they're trying to charge him with espionage and trying to suggest that he had a whole bunch of confidential material, top secret information in his possession, that he was supposedly selling this and stuff like this. This is what they're charging him with, big thing. Nothing that Hillary or Donald Trump have not done. Okay. Absolutely. Totally. But here's the thing. John Bolton is a pedophile. John Bolton has one of the largest collections of child porn out there. His son just came out recently and connected him to a Getty purchase of the largest legal collection of child porn that came from Belgium that was available. And that has since ended up in the possession of Getty Images. Now, all the snuff films, all the child porn, all of that crap is run by the government and it's run out of Getty and Getty Images. They control all of that stuff. And their location over there at Lookout Mountain, where Jared Leto lives, that was a film studio for making such snuff films and child porn. But the point is that John Bolton, if anything, if he did anything, it's have access and have a big collection of this child porn in his possession. But they're going to come out and tell you that this was confidential crap and no one's going to mention child porn. And that's what's going down here. It's just like Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh my God, coming out and saying, "Oh, I had no connection to Mossad. Oh yeah, my father, yeah, I heard he was working for Mossad. Jeffrey Epstein, he didn't kill himself. Well, no kidding, he's still alive. Donald Trump, oh, he was always a gentleman. He never molested anybody." My God, they're going to let that woman go. I mean, right in front of our damn faces, Mossad, this crap is happening right in front, pedophilia happening right in front of our faces. We got a president who is a pedophile who's killed little girls and raped little boys. He sucked on little boy cock and put it in his mouth. That's the kind of president we have. And yet this man thinks he's a saint that deserves a peace prize.
Well, it's interesting.
Insane. It's disgusting.
That's the kind of presidents we've had, because Bill Clinton's in that cocksucking club, and so is Joe Biden. So
well, they've always been that way.
Yeah,
that's what they do at Bohemian Grove.
Yeah,
maybe not Nixon. Nixon wasn't faggy like that.
Yeah, he came out and said, yeah, I remember his famous quote. You brought up Jared Leto. Why?
Because Jared Leto lives in Lookout Mountain, which is connected to the Getty, which is a famous facility for producing child porn. And it's right in front of everyone's faces. When they say I'm full of shit and they can't look under the Getty because it's okay, what about the 3 basement levels underneath Lookout Mountain, Jared Leto's home, that used to be an Air Force facility that has tunnels? And I've known people, I know people have been in those basements. I know a guy who found a human femur in the 3rd level basement of the house, Jared Leto's home. Okay? Seriously. Now, he's dead now. Go figure. And you know what happened after he found that femur? He got in a motorcycle accident and lost his lower part of his leg.
Did you know that
he's dead too?
Jared Leto has a cult?
Who?
Jared Leto has a cult. Did you know that?
Well, am I surprised? He's a sicko.
It's called the Echelon cult.
Yeah, go figure. Oh, Echelon. That was another one of those NSA listening things. Echelon. Screw that. Don't show me this guy's picture. All right. Seriously. He lives too close to me. I mean, seriously.
Holy cow, man. This guy's got a cult.
They call me a cult leader. Seriously. They call me a cult leader. They say I'm a cult.
Man, what a crazy world we're living in, man. Jared Leto.
So, look at that. We gone an hour and 34 minutes, huh?
Hey, can you connect Alex Jones, Mike Adams, and Stu Peters? Because they're all in the James Fetzer.
Well, I don't know Mike Adams. I know Stu Peters. I know his history. I know what he is right now. I know what he was. I don't know his connection to any of these people. I only found out about Alex Jones when I was having issues with QAnon, back when I was running QAnon. Did I tell you this story? No? Anyway, when I was running, I must have, but when I was running QAnon on Facebook, the powers that be deemed me trouble. They said I was dangerous for the movement. And they came up with an alternative movement called the Mayflower movement, which was like a branch of QAnon. It was kind of wacky. But it turned out that the people who were coming up against me were actually the people who started the whole QAnon thing. And that, of course, was the NSA and the Mafia. But it was the leader of this thing was that Roger Stone. Okay, he was Roger Stone and Alex Jones kind of work hand in hand on this stuff. So, like when they want to come up with someone to lead a movement, like the Occupy movement or the Make Marijuana Legal movement or something like this, they will recruit somebody. They'll have like an MK Ultra person that they'll bring up from the ranks, Anyway, they came after me with this guy named Kyle Irwin, I think his name was, and he was a kook. He was somebody that was recruited by he was actually a the son of a friend of Roger Stone. So Roger Stone, or not Roger Stone, but Alex Jones. He was the one that brought this guy in, and at the behest of Roger Stone. And they had a guy out here in Hollywood named I can't remember the name right now, but he is a talent person, a manager for a bunch of Hollywood comedians. Anyway, he's a big Satanist, and he runs a Satanist enclave out here in Encino. Uh, but he was Rick Messina, that's his name. Anyway, he was like running the California operation to try to take me down. And what they did, this culminated where it culminated, where they culminated, but where they when they made their move, they they hacked Facebook. Okay, they hacked Facebook. These guys, this is a serious operation. Okay, this is like Watergate crap, right? They hacked Facebook and they stole the digital keys so that they could access one of the accounts that I was using because I was already banned by Facebook, so I was using someone else's account. But they hacked into this account, and this I was online and watching, and the second they hacked into this account, they said something. They did that where we go one, we go all code, WW whatever. And I saw that and I knew right away I didn't post that somebody had hacked it. So I made a phone call and we immediately got Facebook to shut it down. And what happened was Facebook found out that the digital keys had been stolen and they had to log out 1.1 billion people from Facebook got logged out, and they all had to show ID to get logged back in. That's how they solved the problem. Now, if you were on Facebook back in those days, you would remember because that's not the sort of thing that goes on. And the next day, they did the same thing to YouTube. They logged everybody out, and they made everybody log back in. But that was what happened. But the thing is that they run the whole purpose of that hacking Facebook was to delete me, remove me from the group, because I was the admin, and by deleting this other persona, they would have deleted me from the group. They could have made somebody else admin, and they could have taken over, hijacked my group. And that's what they had been trying to do. They had been trying to hijack my group because I had hijacked them. That's why I started the group, was to hijack QAnon, and I did. So they tried to hijack me, and they failed. But anyway, the point is after they did that, I went on the attack. And what happened afterwards? Is that Messina right there? Looks like
Is this the guy you're talking about, Rick
yeah,
Messina?
Rick Messina. That's him. He's a total pedophile Satanist right there. Yep, that's him. Fuck, I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead. He went into hiding after me. After I was done with him, he went into hiding. But
And
I
this guy
sicked.
runs like a satanic cult and stuff?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly where he lives. I've got maps and everything. But yeah, it turned out it goes deep. First of all, Roger Stone went to jail. That asshole went to jail. Okay, I got him in jail. Um, hell, and look at Alex Jones. What happened to him? $1 billion. Yeah, he got screwed. So anybody involved in this got screwed over. Rick Messina, I identified him to the world. I identified all the people that works for him. I identified pictures of his stuff. I have people on the inside of his thing. I made him dig up all the bodies in his backyard because I was onto him. I made them fill. He owned two houses right there in Encino, backed up to the Encino Reservoir. These Satanists always live next to reservoirs because they like to do their voodoo and dump the bad chi into the water. Okay, that's what they do. Sandy Hook, you take your pick. There's going to be a reservoir nearby where they do this crap. Anyway, the house next door to him, I did a title search on all this stuff, and I found out that it was owned by a Netflix executive. Only the reality was it was really owned by him. And it turned out that particular house was really suspicious, okay? And one of the things I noticed was that the entire backyard was concrete. Now, in this particular neighborhood, that was abnormal because everybody's got swimming pools and luxurious yards. This house did not have it, didn't have any of that. Turned out they had a tunnel entrance in the garage. You drive into the garage, a door would open up, and it went underground, and it went straight to the Skirball Center. You could drive a car to the Skirball Center. Now, the Skirball Center, if you don't know, is the largest Jewish cultural center in the United States. And it is exactly 1.3 miles from the Getty, and it is also connected to the Getty by a tunnel, just like all those synagogues in the near area right there, like the one right across the street from the Getty. They're all connected by tunnels. So, when they say I'm crazy and all this stuff, and you don't want it, the FBI doesn't want to investigate under the Getty, okay, fine. How about we investigate underneath the house next door to Messina right there? How about we investigate underneath the Skirball Center? How about we go to Disneyland? How about we go to the Music Center? Take your pick. Mark Taper Forum. Any one of these places. When the McMartin preschool scandal was going down, all they had to do was fill in those tunnels with dirt. And the FBI and everyone said, oh, look, there's no tunnel here. It's filled in with dirt. And then Ted Gunderson goes and digs it up, and he finds traces of stuff like a bag from Disneyland that was dated modern, like it wouldn't have been there underground. You know what I mean? Obviously, it was filled in. I mean, I've seen so many cases where we've identified tunnels where they just go fill them in. It's just like the McMartin preschool thing led to a house up in Crestline, California, where they were doing all the satanic rituals, over a reservoir across the street from a church. The underground over there, it's still there. Hell, what'd they do? They burned down the house, but you can still see the entrance to the underground. Only there's a locked door with a sign that says it's patrolled by security. For what? For a door in the middle of nowhere that goes to nothing, but it's got armed guard, And then you go to the house next door. You look at the house next door. It's got 5-inch conduit, electrical conduit going into the ground. What does a little itty house, a cabin, need 5-inch conduit for? That's some high power electricity underneath there going. What's underneath that little cabin that requires such high amounts of electricity? Seriously. Come on. It's everywhere. It's just like when I reported to the FBI about the 100,000 children under the Getty. Do they say anything? No. Do they question me? No. When people call up the Getty and say, what's going on? Getty says, it's a lie. When people call up the FBI or the LAPD goes, it's fiction and false. Well, which one is it? That's a double negative. Is this how you're lying? Is this your Masonic word tricks? This is how you could say it with a straight face. It's a fiction and a lie, a double negative. That's the type of crap that these people do, really. And these are the same people. Kash Patel just got through giving an award to these FBI snipers that killed Lavoy Finicum, the guy that I started my movement to honor, so that no more Lavoy Finicums had to die, because we would focus our energy on the Getty and not some bird sanctuary or not some freeway overpass in Albuquerque. Come on. I'm tired of them controlling the narrative. That's why we do shows like this, so we can put this word out there. We can control the narrative so people talk about what we want them to talk about, not the crap that your Alex Joneses and your Stu Peters and whatever bullshit they put out there, polarizing crap. There's plenty of enemies out there, plenty of enemies. There's more enemies than there are of us, but we're still going to win and they're going to lose. But that only happens if we focus. And I know if focusing on the Getty is what destroys them. And I know now it's focusing on this mafia. But now that we know that everybody's in this mafia, what are we going to do? They already control us. They got us by the short hairs. You're in Georgia. It's like they can turn off our computers, our internet. They can censor us. They can do whatever they want anytime they want. And what are we going to do about it? They already know who we are and where we live. And yet we're still telling you guys, do something before it's too late. It's probably already too late, but we don't have a choice. We're still going to sit here and tell you guys to get off your ass and do something so that your children can have a better life than what we have to look forward to, because it's going to be hell. The water's boiling and we're all frogs, and we need to do something. You
Well,
know, seriously.
is the
Huh?
number of what astounds me is the number of traitors in the military, in the FBI, in the CIA, in the police, in the White House, in the Congress, in the Senate, in the hospitals. I mean, it's like we're surrounded by traitors and the people, the children. When are the children going to rise up? Because what's happening is the children are being killed off by their own parents or by their own brothers and sisters because they're allowing this to happen and they're not creating a good future for their own kids. These people are like without any
Well,
kind of conscience or empathy or souls. It's
well,
really
look at guys like Peter Thiel. He's gay. He has no children. These guys, they have no skin in the game. They don't care. Look at these world leaders. They don't care. Ursula von der Leyen, she's got no children. I think the ones that do have children, they're playing a game too, like Trump or Elon Musk. They're probably just putting up a false front so that the rest of us don't think they're monsters, but they are monsters. They want us dead. Seriously, they want us dead.
Do you see these people who are magatards thinking that the martial law that Trump is imposing in DC is so that he can start arresting the actual criminals in DC? That's the narrative that the fake alternative news media is putting out so
People
that
are
people,
so stupid, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, people are stupid. No, it's to protect his ass. Just like when they trained all those soldiers to fight in the underground, that's not so that they could go after bad guys underground. So that's so they could protect the underground from us. That's it's all about defending them against us. Trump doesn't want to go to jail. I mean, my God, he's talking about going to heaven now. You hear that crap?
What? No.
Yeah, seriously. He's actually saying that he wants to make peace in Ukraine because he thinks that way he'll be able to get into heaven because he hears that he's not a very good guy. You think maybe it's because you're a pedophile and you did all those horrible pedophile crimes, you bastard? My God.
Well, a lot of
Seriously.
people know they covered up the Chabad Lubavitch tunnels in Brooklyn, and
Yeah.
it was the police that did that. That's why I say these police are traitors, and they're also, I noticed a lot of them are Freemasons, and the Freemasons are
Oh, well, they
involved in
all are. They all
also
are, totally. The
pedophilia.
police, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, the magatards. First of all, the magatards are turning. Candace Owens is a perfect example. Look at all the people. I mean, hell, I supported Trump. Okay, I supported Trump. I got up in front of international TV on Press TV or Russia Today and supported Trump in front of 880 million. What was it? 480 million people. No, it was 880 million people. Yeah, a lot of people watch RT. Not anymore. They shut that down. But yeah, I defended Trump.
What do you think about this? They're saying that in November, I don't know how they have it planned, but there's an interdimensional or outer space craft that's coming, and it's coming in November. And apparently, they're saying it's not coming in peace; it's coming to attack us. This is in the
They've been
mainstream.
saying that forever.
Yeah.
You know what? Hell, during the Clinton administration, they tried to convince me that I needed to help come up with a tool to defend the Earth from this thing. You know, coming to attack, it's probably the good guys coming to rescue us from them. Seriously. I mean, this coming to attack, we are the bad guys. You look at the entire universe, the species that are out there in the universe, we think there's nothing but humans. BS. The reptoids, Draco-reptoids, the Zeta reticulans, the uh, Anunnaki, and the Gray. Those are the bad guys. The rest of the universe is fighting them, and they control our little world. So, yeah, of course they're coming here to defeat them. That's what we should be doing. That's our number one thing. That's like every Christian, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. What are we wrestling against? It's not humans. It's these damn demons. And what are they? Anunnaki, Gray, reptile. That's what they are. They've always been that. You know, hell.
By the way, I
This is
don't
a
I don't
spiritual
believe
war.
yeah, I don't believe that aliens are going to make the trip to come here save us because really think about it. We here as humans or as mankind
Well,
aren't doing anything to save the people in
yeah, but
Palestine.
here's the thing: Earth is special. Here's the thing: Earth is special. There isn't anything like Earth out there. Earth used to be like the great university or vacation spot of the universe. I mean, we used to have something like 8,000 different species that used to come here just to experience Earth. And these entities that are controlling it now, they've been controlling it for a long time. They basically tried to genocide every other species. And this is why, we're just hybrids. They created us as hybrids to be their slaves, certainly. But I understand what you're saying. They're always here. You got to understand, this is the thing. We don't learn about density. They here on the earth, they always talk about dimensions and crap. It's density. Density is a ratio of physical to spiritual, and reality are different levels of this density. It's just like Tesla said, 369. That's what it's all about. Top three levels are what we call the Trinity. The three levels after that are what we would call the angels and the demons and the aliens. I mean, that's your hell and everything else. But what we're on is one, two, three. Inanimate objects, plants and animals, and humans. We're at the top of our level. We're going to transition up there. These entities that we're dealing with, they're not in our level. They're in a level above us. That's why we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We wrestle against spiritual powers. We're wrestling against entities in a whole nother reality that we're not even connected to. So yeah, this is why the whole astral stuff and the spiritual stuff is so important, because ultimately this is how they measure true power. I mean, in the CIA or the NSA, these places, when they look at you, their level of respect for you is going to be completely determined on your psychic skills and your knowledge of reality. If you're one of these people that deny the existence of aliens, or you think that psychic skills is hoo-ha, they're going to think you're a retarded animal, you know. So yeah, the
Wait,
world that we live in, that's where the real power is.
have you heard of Itzhak Bentov and his stalking the wild pendulum on the mechanics of consciousness?
I see it in front of me.
This
Wild
guy,
pin.
this guy figured out how our souls are connected, and he was going to give a
So he has
lecture
an
on.
opinion.
Well, he actually, they're using
People
it
have
in
opinions.
they're using it in the CIA, which is interesting.
Well,
And
remember,
they're
CIA is the mafia.
yeah, so they
Well,
killed
first
this
of
guy.
all, he's obviously Jewish. Okay, what
They
he's describing there is scalar. That's scalar.
Yeah, and then check this out. For people, I really recommend that they check this video out because they took his information and, of course, they are using it now to mind control people because, like with the movies and the music,
Well,
it's
not
all.
everybody can have that done. You were talking about compassion earlier, and all they have to do is remove the note G from the soundtrack, and that will affect your compassion.
Are you
They do that in
familiar
video games.
with any of this stuff?
Well, of course,
So
I teach this stuff.
you remove the G note and that
Well, that's one of the ways that they affect the people is they remove the G note, the G, and that will cause them to have become less compassionate, less empathy. They do that
wow.
in these violent video games. So that's why after playing these violent video games, they become like zombies. That's why.
Yeah, so I don't know. This is the stuff that they're using to control us with the movies, with the television, and they actually they create enough consciousness to do what they want us to do because
Well, I'm not doing that.
we can actually with our consciousness create a better world, but they guide us towards what they want us to create,
Well,
which is
again, this is you're talking about the matrix, okay? And basically, it's whoever breaks the matrix is going to have control over everybody else. It's a game of manifesting, and
Yeah.
whoever has the best manifesting skills is going to control the mob and get the mob to back up what you're manifesting. So my operation to occupy the Getty is an exercise in manifestation. That's the whole purpose, is to get enough people focused on saving the earth with this one method that it never goes away and it becomes permanent. And this is how reality works. So it's just a matter of being better at it than they are. So screw all their BS. We have to be much better at it. But I notice we're going on 2 hours, so we should probably. I had my air conditioner off all this time, and it's about 88 degrees where I'm sitting, and I'm starting to get. Oh!
Yeah, hey,
But
listen, Steven, thank you so much for reuniting with me and the audience. You're definitely a favorite. So we'll have to do this more often and not wait so long.
you're going to get more viewers now.
Yeah, yeah.
ah, oh God, that's so. Yeah,
All right. So listen,
it is what it is.
I'm gonna leave your information in the description section for people. Please share in compassionate wealth to keep the soul currency flowing, to keep Stephen Kelly and I actually giving you information that you won't find anywhere else. And I want to remind everybody that united we stand, divided we fall. Never give up, never surrender. Keep shining. Live, love, flow.